So today we're going to share habit number 6, which is the importance of playing to your strengths. If I was to ask you what your strengths are, you'd probably find it quite difficult, and many people do, because it's very difficult, isn't it, to understand what you're good at, because it's natural for you. It's something that you find really easy, and perhaps other people would find really difficult and really challenging. For you, it's quite simple. So when you get asked that question, it's quite difficult to find out what they are. So I want to explore on today's video really around the importance of that, how that helps you, and how sometimes the way we've been treated in the past sometimes doesn't really focus on our strengths. I mean, how many of you, for example, have been involved in appraisals where you've had a fantastic year, but there's that one moment in the year where you made a mistake, and the whole conversation, doesn't it? The whole conversation seems to evolve around that one mistake you made, rather than, you know, the great successes you had. And your training plan or development plan or your PDP or whatever it's called in your business is often focused on your weaknesses and the things that you'll never really be good at. And I find that quite fascinating, because, you know, if I was I don't know, a coach of a sports team, let's say a football team, for example, if I can use that, and I've got my star striker in for their performance conversation, and I bring him in, we sit down, have a conversation, and say, look, you've had a fantastic year, and really pleased about how you've come back from injury. You've been brilliant to the team, you're a fantastic asset, and it's been great to see you score those most amazing goals, and well done. However, have noticed that when we're on the training pitch, that when it's your turn in goal, you're pretty useless at goalkeeping. So what we're going to do this year, we're going to send you on a goalkeeping course, because that's obviously clearly a weakness for you. So it's important that you can actually do that properly. Now, if you were a sports coach of an elite team, you wouldn't do that, would you? What you'd probably do is identify what your star striker's good at and send them on courses to improve what they're already good at. That sort of makes sense, doesn't it? So we tend to have been treated in the past where, you know, we've got to be perfect in everything we do, and you've got to have this sort of framework or competency framework where you've got to be able to good and you get measured and all this sort of stuff. And actually, for me, all the performance I know, and certainly with the teams I work with and developed over the years, the real performance comes when everyone is actually focused on using their strengths and actually is allowed to use their strengths and actually puts those strengths to use. I wrote in Leadership Laid Bare a while ago around a wonderful story I heard years ago, and it takes us to China, and it takes us up to the mountains to a small village, and we're going back quite a few years now. They didn't have running water in their homes, but there's a Chinese family, and the husband and wife and children, and they all live together, and it's all a fantastic living, and they work hard. And in the morning, because he really loves his family, he gets up really early before everyone else is up, and he actually goes down and actually gets the family water from the river. And it's about 1.5 mile walk down to the river. And with him, he takes 2 pots, and he gets one of those poles across his back. You can picture it, can't you? And he's walking down the same path every morning. And he goes to the river and fills the pots up, and then walks back. And, you know, and when he walks back, he picks some flowers for his wife, and, you know, it's a wonderful living. And he gets back, and then obviously the family then wake up, and there's water to wash, and there's water for breakfast and water for the rest of the day. And it's a great thing that he's done, and it's a bit of a habit for him. This story actually is not really about the Chinese family. What the story is about the 2 pots. And one day they were sat, and one of the pots noticed that the other pot was looking a bit sad and a bit down in the dumps, and thought, well, I need to have a conversation with this and make sure, yeah, they're okay. So he said, are you okay? I've noticed you're a bit down in the dumps at the moment. And he said, well, I've just been reflecting on what we do, and every morning we go down and get the water, and I feel a little bit upset the fact that, you know, when you get back, because you're so perfect, you come back and it's a full pot of water, and when I get back, is a lot of my water has leaked through all the cracks and the holes. I've only got about 1/3 of the amount of water left, and that you have, and I feel a bit inadequate and feel a bit down about that. And the other pot thought for a little while and reviewed what had happened and reviewed what goes on every morning, and started a conversation with the other pot and said, well, let's talk through that, shall we? And let's talk about, have you noticed that every day he brings back flowers for his wife? And he said, yeah. I said, it's amazing, isn't it? So when she sees those flowers, her face lights up, and she's so grateful for her husband to bring back these lovely flowers and to be thinking of her and to make her day. And obviously brings back the water as well. He said, yeah. He said, that's amazing. He said, well, have you noticed where he gets the flowers from? He said, yeah, well, they're actually down, you know, one side of the path, aren't they? He said, yes. He said, have you noticed actually it's only one side that the flowers grow? He said, yeah, it's strange that, isn't it? I have thought about that in the past and I wonder why. I said, well, what happens is because our master, he goes down every morning and he does the same thing over and over and puts the same pots on the same shoulders. What happens is when he fills up and we turn around and we come back is that although that you feel inadequate that the water's leaking out of your pot, what actually is happening is you're watering your side of the path every single morning so that the flowers grow. And obviously when the flowers grow, they're beautiful, and the master takes them back to his wife. And so what you're doing is contributing to such an amazing moment. You just haven't realized that. And the pot thought for a little while, I thought, that is so true. I hadn't realized actually, what actually I have and what I'm actually doing. And I think that's a wonderful story, isn't it, when we think about it, is that we don't always value what we've got and we don't spend enough time thinking about our strengths. We use a number of tools in our business to help leaders understand their tools. You can go through conversations, you can get feedback from people. So we use tools like strengths profiles, strength scopes, another tool, all the work that Gallup do as well. And there's some great stuff and dialogue you can have to start to really identify what your strengths are. So what is it that gives you energy? What do you find really easy? What perhaps are some of your unrealized strengths? When we're building teams, one of the things we do is we make sure that people are playing to position, they're using their strengths, and we actually build their strengths and make sure they use more of their strengths. And I think that's a great outlook on life. And certainly I know when teams and individuals and leaders are using their strengths, they're going to be a lot more effective. And the research backs it up. Science-based research shows that when you focus on the positives, and we use a body of thinking called appreciative inquiry, when you really look for things and you look for strength and grow the strengths, it's amazing what people can do and actually can deliver extraordinary results. And they'll surprise you in terms of what they do, because when you apply their strengths in every situation, they're going to be really, really successful, aren't they? Tomorrow, I'm going to share some ideas on habit number 7, which is all about the ability to achieve much more by slowing down. Till then, have a great time and every success. Bye for now.